Have you ever noticed someone around you subtly undermining your success, even while smiling at your face? Or your achievements evoke hidden resentment in people, which they carefully conceal? Today, we will dive into the subtle world of the human psyche and figure out how to recognize envy in just 5 minutes. You will be surprised at how many signals you miss every day and how you can use them to understand people and protect yourself. Envy is one of the most hidden and destructive human emotions. It can manifest quietly, almost imperceptibly, but its impact on relationships and well-being can be huge. To recognize envy, you need to learn to read the signals people send unconsciously. The first signal is tone of communication. Envious people often mask their feelings with friendliness, but their words contain a sharp subtext. This could be light criticism of your ideas, sarcasm, or seemingly innocent phrases that make you doubt yourself. For example, you share your achievements at work, and the response is, "Well, that's not bad, but I would have done it differently." At first glance, a compliment, but in reality, an attempt to downplay your success. The next sign is exaggerating their own achievements against the backdrop of yours. An envious person seeks to emphasize that they are also good precisely when you achieve something significant. It's as if they're saying, "Yes, you are successful, but I'm no worse." This is a psychological way to level someone else's success in order not to feel inferior. In daily life, it manifests in constant stories about their victories and achievements at moments when you share yours. Pay special attention to insincere compliments. A sincere compliment warms and motivates, while an envious one almost always contains hidden criticism or comparison. For example, instead of, "You did great," "Well, not bad, but I would have done better."
Such small details may seem insignificant, but they reveal a person's true attitude toward you. Besides, words, gestures, and facial expressions are a powerful source of information. Brief glances, stiff posture, barely noticeable smiles when you talk about your successes, these are subtle markers of envy.
Even if you consciously ignore them, your subconscious picks up these signals and gives you a sense of who is sincere and who is hiding emotions. Now let's consider reactions to your victories. Envious people rarely feel genuine happiness. They may change the topic of conversation to divert attention from your success, criticize the result that you worked hard for, or try to downplay your efforts, pretending it was easy. To better understand this in practice, imagine a colleague who always smiles, but when discussing your successful presentation, suddenly mentions, "I had more experience and would have done better." At first glance, an innocent phrase, but it reveals envy and a desire to compare themselves to you. Another signal is strategic distancing. An envious person may not openly criticize, but they start avoiding teamwork, shift attention to themselves, or show passive resistance. This is especially noticeable in groups of friends or at work, when their reaction to your ideas differs from their reaction to others' ideas. Finally, subconscious manifestations of envy, minor irritations, unconscious imitation of your habits, repeating your words or mannerisms. This may be barely noticeable, but psychologists call it mirroring, an attempt to align while simultaneously comparing themselves to you. So, now that we've examined the signs of envy, tone of communication, insincere compliments, facial expressions, reactions to your achievements, and subconscious manifestations, it's time to learn how to use this knowledge in practice. The first thing to understand, recognizing an envious person does not make you a cruel or suspicious person. On the contrary, this knowledge helps you maintain calm, confidence, and appropriate boundaries. For example, if a colleague suddenly starts comparing their achievements to yours, instead of reacting emotionally, you can simply observe, noting behavior patterns. The second point is setting boundaries in communication. Envious people often try to manipulate the attention and energy of others. By knowing the signs of envy, you can gently limit interaction without creating conflict. For instance, if a friend constantly tries to downplay your successes or shift the conversation to their accomplishments, you can calmly change the topic or reduce the time spent interacting. The third important aspect is using your observations as a tool for self-development. When you notice envy in others, it's an opportunity to analyze your own reactions. Why does this situation make you uncomfortable? What emotions does the comparison trigger in you? Understanding your feelings helps not only to handle external expressions of envy, but also strengthens your inner resilience. Next, let's look at strategies for interacting with envious people. The first strategy is neutrality and calmness. There's no need to prove your worth or argue about who is better. This only increases tension. Envious people often feed on others' reactions. The stronger your emotional involvement, the more they feel confirmed in their influence. The second strategy is supporting positive aspects. Sometimes envy is disguised as criticism, but the person may still be capable of cooperation. If you notice sincere moments of interaction, use them for collaborative actions that benefit everyone. This helps reduce tension and maintain professional or friendly relationships. The third strategy is not to focus on external manifestations. Envy often reflects another person's inner insecurity, not your fault or weakness. By realizing this, you stop taking their envy personally and learn to focus on your own goals and successes. For better understanding, consider this example. A colleague constantly praises themselves and criticizes your ideas, but you notice there are moments of genuine collaboration in their behavior. By using neutrality, you continue to work effectively, not reacting to provocations, and gradually strengthen your influence without conflict. Another approach is observing recurring patterns. Envy manifests systematically, not episodically. If you notice that someone consistently reacts the same way to your achievements, this is a signal to develop strategies to protect yourself and minimize emotional involvement. Now that we've learned to recognize envy and understand the subtle signals of behavior, it's time to discuss how to use this knowledge for self-protection and inner calm. The first thing to focus on is maintaining emotional distance. There's no need to try to change an envious person or prove your worth. Any attempts to argue or conflict only increase tension. By observing and being aware of the situation, you remain in control of your emotions, and that is already a huge victory. The second point is developing confidence and inner harmony. When you know how envy manifests, you can calmly accept it as part of human nature, without letting someone else's emotions dictate your mood. Focusing on your own goals and achievements helps strengthen self-esteem and inner stability. The third aspect is using observations to interact with people effectively. You can choose whom to allow closer and from whom to maintain distance without creating conflicts. Sometimes it's enough to simply adjust your behavior, share fewer details that might trigger envy, or maintain a safe tone of communication. It's important to remember that envy is a reflection of another person's inner insecurity, not your weakness. By realizing this, you stop taking others' envy personally, which allows you to remain calm in any situation, at work, among friends, or in family. Finally, the most important lesson: perceive envy as a learning opportunity. Observing others' behavior helps develop emotional intelligence, understanding of human psychology, and the ability to anticipate reactions. This not only protects you from negative influence, but also makes you stronger and wiser. Thus, recognizing envy is not just a skill of reading others' emotions. It's a way to maintain inner harmony, build healthy relationships, and confidently pursue your goals without letting someone else's feelings control your life. With this knowledge, you are now ready to notice envy, adjust your behavior, and remain calm and confident, no matter who is around you.